Hey guys, what's going on? It's Robbie Soto here from Authentic Community Theater coming to you live as promised. So we are so excited. Washington County Gives Day, and I'm here with my man from Live 96.7 himself, Mr. Hagerstown, the Ryan Seacrest of Hagerstown. Ryan Smetzer is here with us, joining us here live for our interview with Wilson Jermaine Heredia.
Yes, this is going to be an awesome time. Of course, we want to remind you guys, WashingtonCountyGives.org is where you're going to want to donate throughout the evening. For those of you who have already donated, thank you for your generosity. We're so appreciative of your efforts to keep things moving and keep us with, improving all the great things that ACT has to offer here in the next couple of months, years to come. I believe we have our cue cards mixed up.
We do. Hold on, let's switch those
Unless
out.
you want me to play Robbie for the evening.
No, it's okay.
In the true spirit of ACT, I'll act and be you.
Be
me.
I couldn't be you if I tried, Ryan. That's just. I don't know if I can handle it, brother. I don't know. But hey, guys, so first of all, again, like Ryan said, thank you so much for donating. WashingtonCountyGives.org. Make your donations there. If you have already, thank you so much. We're going to go through. We're actually releasing what you get for donating towards our capital campaign, which, of course, as you've been watching and as you've been hearing for the past couple of days, what we're doing, our goal is to buy and use a new space called the ACT Black Box Studio and Event Center. And we are so excited about it. We have a great place lined up, but we need your help to make it happen. Again, our goal for the entire capital campaign is $500,000. It's $500,000. It's a lot, but we can do it with your help. So again, we're going to go over a couple things here, what you're going to get for your money and why you should donate. So Ryan, kick it off for us, bro.
Absolutely, yes. So our capital campaign, again, goes towards the ACT Black Box Studio, which is going to allow ACT to do some great small form productions and things like comedy shows, drag shows, music reviews, all sorts of great entertainment in downtown Hagerstown. And it'll bring the whole tri-state together and mesh together amateur performers as well as professional performers alike from all over the nation. So it's going to be an amazing effort, and it's awesome to be able to use Washington County Gives as the kickoff to the capital campaign. We've got some great campaign tiers to tell you about. For a $50 donation, you get what's called an ACT swag discount. If you didn't know already, over at actforall.org, we've got a great merch store for you to check out. If you donate that $50 donation today, or really anytime during our capital campaign, you'll get a 15% off discount on all of the merchandise from the ACT merchandise store.
Absolutely. We have some really great ones as well. We have hoodies, t-shirts, hats. We have masks for coronavirus. Woo! Everything else that you can think of, we have, and we're adding more on a regular basis. You can even customize your own shirt, your own hoodie, whatever you want. You can put your name on it. You can put a quote, whatever you want. You have that opportunity to do. So for $100 is the next tier, okay? What you're going to get is an ACT swag. You're going to get a t-shirt and cup. Again, pretty cool. So you'll get that for a $100 donation. You can either come pick that up, pick it up at a show, pick it up at the office, or we can mail it out to you, whatever's more convenient.
And that's an awesome deal. Honestly, too, if you guys already have some cool ACT merch, give us a thumbs up in the comments and let us know. Be sure to chime in there, especially as we get into our interview later on.
Yes.
We'd love to hear some questions, some comments, anything you guys have to say. Let us know down in the comments. We're live on the ACT Facebook. We're live on my personal Facebook page and the ACT YouTube channel as well. Our next campaign tier is our online class and registration plus a t-shirt. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's for a $500 donation. And again, that goes right into our capital campaign towards acquiring that space for the ACT Black Box Studio.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, you get a free registration, free class, and a t-shirt. So again, donate away. Next step is the $1,000. You're going to get a swag bag. Now that swag bag is going to be, you're going to get a free class and a free program. Plus, you're going to get a basket full of swag, t-shirts, pens, cups, the whole nine, along with those with a $1,000 donation.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, the next tier as we go up and along is that $5,000 donation. That includes lifetime season tickets to any ACT production. That includes not only the new ACT Black Box Studio, but the Maryland Theater as well. So any production moving forward, you get those lifetime season tickets. You'll get to enjoy entertainment for forever.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that's at the Maryland Theater and the new Black Box Studio and Event Center. And again, we already do 7 shows a year at the Maryland Theater. With the ACT Black Box Studio, we're going to be adding more shows. This is an opportunity for you to get to see shows for free for the rest of your life. The next step is $7,500. You get a free class and program, registration, for life. That means for life. So for the rest of your life, if you want to sign your kids up, sign yourself up for classes, lessons, whatever it is, it's free for you for the rest of your life. Pretty big deal. We're not going anywhere. We've been around for 15 years. Where are we going?
I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be going anywhere, or why you'd be going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere. So again, for life, you have that option. And again, the amount of money people invest anyway, this is a great option to make sure you keep getting that for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And the next step too is our naming rights opportunities. I was going to say, I loved doing that.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. I took my cue from you.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah, that was great. We're just going to keep passing on that.
Yeah.
So our naming rights opportunities, of course, with the ACT Black Box Studio coming soon here in the coming months, years, once we get everything together, there'll be an opportunity for naming rights for not only the stage, but the bar, the tech booth, the lobby, the rooms for the dressing rooms, the costume rooms, basically any room within that ACT Black Box Studio building is going to be available for naming rights. So Donor's Choice naming rights at $50,000 with a great contribution towards building that ACT Black Box Studio. You'll have the opportunity to put your name right on authentic community theater history and downtown Hagerstown history too.
Can't ask for much more. Now that's for 50 grand. And again, it's while supplies last. So we'll name anything. You want a chair, you want the bar, you want the dressing room, you want the tech booth. It doesn't matter. We'll name it right after you, and you'll get a nice plaque that says your name on it. Now we're going to take a step back because I messed up the cue cards, Ryan. So we still have something for $25,000.
There we go.
And again, for the $25K, what you're going to get is you're going to get a seating area named after you. So when somebody comes in, they're going to check into insert name here seating, and that's where they're going to sit. Again, you're going to have plaques and your names on all the chairs and tables. It's going to be great. And again, people are going to be sitting in your section. Pretty awesome. And then the big one, $100,000 donation. Woo! A lot of money. A lot. Some of you have it. I know you do because I talked to you. So $100,000, and we will name the entire Black Box Studio in your name. So insert name here, maybe Ryan Smetzer, perhaps, as big of a celebrity as he is, the Ryan Smetzer and Authentic Community Theater Black Box Studio and Event Center. I think it sounds pretty good.
That's wishful thinking, but yeah. I was like, I'm not sure the six figures exist just yet, but we'll get there someday.
That's all right. We'll get there someday. So now is the big event. This is what you guys have all been waiting for. Again, we have Tony Award winner Wilson Jermaine Heredia, good friend of ours. You saw him in West Side Story. You saw him in Rent the Movie. If you saw him on Broadway, you're one lucky person. Wilson, what's going on, brother?
How's it going, baby?
It's going good, man. It's so good to see you. Love the mohawk you're rocking, brother. Looks good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, it's a very, very easy hairstyle to maintain during the COVID crisis.
I like it.
I was going to say that's the quarantine cut to the max right
Right.
there.
That is a quarantine cut. I'm thinking that it's going to be part of my new brand. So
It should be. It should be. Keep it forever. And I might do my hair like that. What do you think?
well, that's why I asked you before. You know, we have been talking about a project. You know, doing Godspell, and that's why I asked you. You know, how do you feel about the Jesus with the mohawk?
We'll make it work, brother.
Beard. I still have the beard. You know, so
You got.
by the way.
I think you could rock the mohawk maybe if it was in style then.
By the way, you guys look fantastic. It's great to see you again, Ryan, and you look fantastic, my man.
Thanks so much. And Wilson, thanks for coming on. We've been getting a bunch of questions all day. We picked a bunch of them here. And we just want to go ahead and ask you a couple of these. These are just kind of about your life and what it was like on Broadway. Again, if you saw West Side Story, you saw a different side of Wilson that a lot of people haven't seen as he started as Tony in West Side. I think it was like 1,500 people came and saw it in one weekend. It was an amazing performance. So first of all, in front of everybody, I know we've talked. Thank you so much for being a part of that. You really made that show special, and you gave something special in this area. And for local performers, you get to perform with somebody like you. So some of them want to ask you some questions. They didn't maybe get a chance to meet you or didn't get a chance to ask you. So Ryan, you start off, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. The first question that we got in, of course, it's a big one. What was Broadway like?
You know, Broadway was, I would have to say that it's like any big job. I mean, I don't mean to sound jaded, but it's like any job. Like eventually after you're doing it for a while, it's a grind. And there's a responsibility that you have in order to keep the energy up every single night, and not just repeat what you did the night before, but to do I attempt to do something better than what you did the night before, or your previous performances. But initially, what Broadway was is, to me, it was. I have to say yes. I mean, also, was it fun? Was it fantastic? Absolutely. Would I want to do it again? Absolutely. It's just there's a lot of work. I don't know whether a lot of people know, I mean people that go see theater in general. I mean they'll go see it for a night, or maybe they'll see like a Saturday matinee or so. But I don't think unless you actually do it yourself that people realize what kind of energy it takes to do 8 shows a week and to do it all full out. And never phoning it in ever. You have to do it as if though it was your first show. So it is what every theater actor aspires to do. And it comes with a huge responsibility, because also you're responsible for the I would say the moods, the emotional state, the mental state of the audience, coming in. You want to give them something. You want to give them your all, and the audience can always read it. They'll always know. It's almost like doing something for film or television. It's so intimate. Though no matter how big the theaters are, it always feels very, very intimate, and you immediately establish a connection with the audience, especially Broadway audiences. They're there for the ultimate Broadway experience, and immediately you feel that rapport that you get with them. Like there's that one line or that one note, that one move, and there's nothing like it's like doing a rock concert. Specifically with Rent, it's like doing a rock concert every single night. You should know, Ryan. Like that's what it feels like. Like it's a rock concert. So I mean, and I've done. I've been on another Broadway show, but it's still nothing really compares to like what Rent felt like on Broadway, and to take something that comfortably fits in a small theater to a bigger theater, and be surprised that it actually works in a big theater as well, and that it still reaches out to that very last person up in the mezzanine. It was, and I strive to always be back on Broadway, not just for the sake of it, but it's as I said before, it's what people strive to do. It's like Carnegie Hall. It's the space, it's the people, it's the prestige. But at the end of the day, it's always the work. You have fun. And that should be number one, though. Really, number one. If you're not having fun doing it, then you should not be doing it at all. But it's really it's a huge it's a big deal. And I didn't think a kid from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, the original OG Williamsburg, Brooklyn, was actually gonna get on that stage. So
baby, I know what you're talking about.
So yeah.
Ryan and I were blessed enough to be a part of the cast of Rent here at ACT. And if you've been following us for a while, you know our story. We got denied the rights to do the show because it was on tour, and then we were lucky enough that Julie Larson, we wrote a letter to her, and she granted us the permission to do the show. So we were blessed to be able to do that, and that's of course where we met Wilson and came in and worked with our cast. And we did the show just for one weekend, but to go through Tech Week and all the rehearsals and everything, the emotional burden that we had in that show, particularly, like it was too much. Like it was a lot. I can only imagine doing it 8 times a week, over and over. Like it was a lot. I know the last scene that we did together, I think the Saturday night, Ryan buried his head in my shoulder.
I was a sniffly mess. That's for darn sure.
And we have it on recording too, which is great. I go back and watch it.
You can hear on the mic just like you're like, oh wow, somebody mute him there.
But I couldn't. I couldn't imagine doing it 8 times a week, especially
Yeah.
playing the role that you played, having to put them heels on 8 times a week, and so that's incredible.
Yeah.
And imagine doing it twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday.
I don't know if I could. It's so much. I got another question here for you, Wilson. What was it like getting everyone or almost everyone back together for the film? Like what? However many years later, it was
almost 10.
Yeah, almost 10 years later. What was it like getting everybody back together? I mean, I know we have spoken, and you said you guys have always been stayed close and stayed in contact and all that. But what was it? Was it like time never passed between you guys whenever you got on the movie set?
It was even better. It was like time did pass, and we actually got to enjoy it more, and time didn't pass in as far as the dynamic. If anything, it just felt a lot more free. It was just a lot more fun. I really have to say that because the difference was that we weren't going through the fanfare of the show being a smash. It was more because I mean, on top of doing the show, and being the phenomenon that it was, we also had to promote the show, and so there was a lot of appearances. There was Rosie O'Donnell, there was the Tonight Show, there was Jay Leno, there was you name it, we were there, and we were doing that on top. Good Morning America, and we still had to do the show. We still had to be there. There was a time where we went to do the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. I remember that it was a weekend, and what they did was we went to we had a matinee. We actually went on our day off, and then did the Tonight Show. Then they flew us back, and then come Tuesday, we had to do the show all over again. So there was just
time.
There was just barely enough time. So here comes the movie now, and here we are. We're not doing the show every single day, and what we're getting to do is enjoy each other's company. We're also getting to revisit our characters as well, and do things that maybe that we would have wanted to do or explore further while we were doing it on stage, or things that you can explore more on film than you can do on stage. And so, if anything, and I think that I definitely can speak for all of us, is that I felt that there was a lot more freedom to explore the characters and to do a whole lot more, because you were covered in a 360-degree field, as opposed to just basic a three-dimensional performance, as in like left, right, forward, and pretty much it. Whereas you have the camera just following whatever it is that you do, and following the whole background. So for me, like, doing Today for You, like, it was like when I saw the set and I saw all the things that were around it, I was like, oh my God. And I didn't have to worry that Today for You was just this, and there's the jump, and then there's doing, and then that. It still lived in this world and that world. Whereas the camera was constantly following it. And that's one of the first things that Christopher Columbus said was, he's like, you don't have to worry about a thing. We will follow everything that you do. And even Jesse looked at me. He was like, oh, and I was like, oh, and so
you had told me about the now famous Pinky during the support group scene, where you waved at Anthony, but you did the Pinky.
Right, something that you can't, that will never read on a stage.
Right.
It has to be on stage. It has to do this. Especially on a Broadway stage. On top of that, with a much bigger house, everything has to be like like hello, and nods have to be like that. Not as exaggerated, but something close to that. The Pinky came about like because also knowing that the camera is so, though the camera may be like 6-7 feet away from you, and they're saying like this is a close-up on you, you feel it. And so you know that your moment is like say hello. It's like, and it just emerged, like, and it's a further exploration on the character Angel, like more of her idiosyncrasies.
Well, I remember because I also directed Rent. For those of you who don't know,
Yes, you did.
I remember working with Chad Michael Gilbert, who was our Angel.
It was fantastic.
Like, I need that pinky. I need that pinky. And we put it a couple different places. And I remember going back and watching the video, and it was the scene where Angel is dying right during Without You. And I remember I had him roll over, and I was standing there as Collins, and he did the pinky. And it was one day at rehearsal, because I told him, I was like, just find somewhere to put it. Find somewhere to put it. I'm not sure where, but I need it somewhere. And he rolled over while he was dying and did the pinky. And
that's heartbreaking.
I was like, oh my goodness. Like, so doing the movie and stuff, that was my first experience with Rent. I never saw the Broadway show. I'd actually never heard of the show at all in 2005. And it was that entire thing was just so life changing. And then I remember in 2013, I think it was, I went to LA and went on the Warner Brothers lot for a tour, and we flew past the New York where you guys shot Rent, the song, and I remember going, like, I was like, oh my God, this is where it all happened, like right here. And it was just such a cool experience. I mean, the movie itself, I think, is what continued the show's legacy, because it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
The show happened, and it really continued its legacy on to where it's still touching generation after generation. And that's the one thing I talked with Julie Larson about. Of course, Jonathan Larson's sister, the writer and composer for Rent. And she said that she loves the fact that 25 years later, her brother's work, who sadly passed away, is still touching lives every day. And it's so true. And I mean, that's a body of work. You were handpicked by Jonathan himself. The role. I mean, that's incredible. Ryan.
Yeah, and
brother.
I think kind of bouncing off of that, whenever you guys started working on the project of Rent, back, way back then, what did you kind of think? Like, were you expecting it to be kind of as big as it was, now that it's kind of evolved into something that, again, schools, theater companies are either, doing the show full out or doing, pieces from the show? You've got, I think my show choir in high school did Seasons of Love, and
everybody does Seasons of Love
full of times. And then obviously you have, the Fox production, and then, the videos in the last couple of weeks during, COVID. You've seen a lot of people taking pieces from the production and, using it as kind of a sign of hope, in a time of need during COVID. So kind of back, whenever you guys started, did you expect it to kind of explode the way that it did over the last 15, 20 plus years?
I knew that when we were doing it, that it was already, the material was so overwhelming. Just Seasons of Love alone, and what it makes you feel once you sing it in a group, and you work on learning the song, you sing it in a group, you just feel, there's something magical that happens in a circle and in a group when you sing that song. It stops just being that a theme, the theme song to the show. It becomes something that really galvanizes a group of people for some reason. It's magic, and that, along with all of the other numbers, whatever number that you prefer, whether it be Today for You, whether it be Over the Moon, whether it be Take Me or Leave Me, whether it be Cover You, it's the songs that, and the way that he wrote the songs, he just wrote songs, and I wouldn't call them just timeless. It relevant. And it strikes a chord in it. You don't, because it's also not a typical musical, but it's written so well that you hear it and you go like, oh, what's this? It doesn't sound like your typical musical. And that's, for me, initially, when I first heard the music prior to me learning it, made me and that's why I first said overwhelming, is I was floored, and I thought to myself, this is a musical. This is a musical. This isn't like Hello Dolly. This isn't Oklahoma. This is something that I can do, and it spoke to me. And I was 23 years at that time, so it spoke to a 23-year-old mind. It really resonated with me. So I knew that when we all got together, and when I saw all the faces, they picked all the right. I mean, I just you know how when you just read people's body language when you see them, and you see like, okay, this is, you don't really know what the show is going to be about. You have to imagine, again, like, this is before there were any archetypes for the show of what you would expect. The only people that did it before were Anthony, Daphne, Mart Setlock was the first person who did Angel, and I believe there was Shelley Dickinson, who ended up being an understudy for Broadway, but she apparently was part of like the first workshop as well. But they were still trying to figure out archetypes, and it was finally solidified with us. And then so when we finally got together as a group, you were able to see, like, there's the magic right there. Like, I see it, and I had this feeling of deja vu when I was in there. I thought, like, oh, I feel like I've known you. I've known everyone there before. I've worked with them before. It felt perfect. It felt like we were in the right time, in the right place, doing the right thing, and it took the right attitudes, and we felt the same about performing theater and what theater meant, and the arts and this message. And also, by the time that we got to Broadway, it obviously it blew up, but we knew from the time that we were doing it off Broadway that this was something monumental that has never been done before. Now, there's a lot of things that get done before that never really see the light of day, but things that resonate, people pick up on, and everyone's antenna just picked it up. And so did we feel that it was going to be as relevant? Now, I am surprised that 25 years down the line, that it's still something that a 15-year-old will tell me that wasn't even born when the show was on Broadway, but that the film connected with them. I wouldn't say that I was surprised, because it felt I always feel and felt very strongly about the show and the message and the music and the material. If anything, I'm pleasantly surprised that this generation and the generation prior, from millennials now to Generation Z, that they relate to it. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of themes in the show, but it definitely addresses feeling like an outcast and finding your people, and feeling empowered by that, and then in turn not feeling like an outcast, and going like, it's okay to be different, and different does not mean outcast. And there is a lot of that in this generation, even more so because of the way that social media now has reprogrammed people's brains, and a form of, and how they find acceptance. They hear this song and they listen to the lyrics, and all of a sudden they feel like, you know what? I'm all right. It's sort of like that old psychology book that says, like, I'm okay, you're okay. It's their version of that kind of therapy, because I've spoken to many a student around that age range that have told me that it's helped them accept themselves, help them be proud of themselves, help them not hide themselves, also feel like they're not alone. not surprised that it's that still, it's going on almost like the interest and the love is just as strong, but really pleased that that the message is still resonating, but also not surprised because every generation is going to have its outcasts. And the music is still not so outdated. And there are things I mean, I've heard musicals and music that I can say like, oh yeah, they got that from our show. They absolutely 100% got that from our show. Or they wouldn't have even tried that if it weren't for our show.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
the biggest thing, excuse me, for me, and really digging into that script and getting to know is, when people, you get a synopsis from someone who really doesn't know the show. It's like, oh, it's about the AIDS epidemic and how it affects, people with AIDS. But there was so much more to that show and so many layers that you just kept peeling back. Even the week of the show, we're still peeling back layers of this thing.
We've been working on it for a year.
So. I mean, and it was constantly just pulling back those layers, and but I'm not surprised that it's still relevant. People are still in love with it. Now, so you were on Broadway, you did the show, you get nominated for the Tony. Did you expect to get nominated for the Tony, and did you expect to win the Tony?
I was just glad I had a job. I
think the person that submitted the question, if your speech is obviously on YouTube, and it was like 10 seconds long, and it was so
longer than that.
It was like, did you expect it? Like when you got the call that you got nominated, I'm assuming you got the call from your agent or your manager that you were nominated for the Tony. And then when you won it, like, was any of that expected? Did you ever think that was in the realm of opportunity?
No. I mean, seriously, I was in that. Yeah. See, before I was doing Rent, and before I even auditioned for the show, I was working as a dispatcher or IE. I mean, a lot of people, I've mentioned this throughout the years, and they get confused as to like what I actually did. I was part of the complaint center for a property property management company. So, and we actually had an in-house maintenance crew. And different departments as well. Like, for the elevator, we had plumbing, we had electric, and so forth. So if something were happening, and the reason that they had this was basically like if there was something like let's just say that there's the toilet on the 6th floor is clogged and it's overflowing. Well, then the apartments in 4, or rather 5, 4, and 3 are all basically they're all going to experience the same problem, which means, i.e., property damage. And so they had their in-house thing. I was the person that you called if it were 3 o'clock in the morning, and say like, hey, this is going on. We need somebody stat. And so we had walkie-talkies, all very legit, all very like legit feeling, but it wasn't. It was just literally we were just in the complaint center. So this is I had day shift, and a lot of the times in order to make just a little bit more money, I was doing the night shifts, which was working from 12 to 9 o'clock in the morning. So no different than when you had to do graveyard shifts yourself, Rob. So like, and I was earning like $300, like maybe $40 a week, and then by the time that I auditioned for Rent, I just got medical insurance as well. So I was really, really happy that I just got medical insurance, and I was thinking like this I wasn't even sure that I was gonna take the show because it was off Broadway. I felt it was gonna last for like a month, and if I had to quit my job, how do I go back? Like, how do I start from scratch and get medical insurance and all? Then $340 was a big deal for me. I was trying to get out of my house, my parents' house. This is where I came from right before I started doing the show off Broadway. Now, if you're asking me like what I felt like when I was nominated for a Tony, I was like, shit. I was like, I felt like, wow, I am, completely like it was unbelievable for me. I was like, I'm glad that I actually I got this job that I don't have to quit. It was like, I guess this is going to be for a while. And I thought that what a great thing for me and for people that the show represented, to have at least someone that looked like me that won a Tony. I realized that I was the first person of Dominican descent to ever win a Tony Award. It's never really mentioned. But I thought, like, what a great thing. And I thought, but first the drama desk nomination came, and they called me up, and I wasn't, and I have to tell you, like I wasn't really privy to a lot of awards. I didn't expect, number one, to ever be on Broadway because I didn't see people that looked like me on Broadway, so I never expected that at all. You tell me before us and before Hamilton and before Noise Funk, tell me what other cast that had a bunch of people that weren't Snow White, and not that it's a show that had a little bit more diversity than Oklahoma. And to me, I was just accepting that my life was going to be for independent films. It was going to be off Broadway stuff. I didn't start dance training early enough in life to be in the dance ensemble, to be competitive enough. So for me, number one, to be on Broadway was like, wow, like number one, like that's a huge deal. And two, to even, first, so the morning of the drama desk, it was Rodney Hicks who called me up. He was like, I'm just calling to say congratulations, you just got nominated for a drama desk, right? And back then I was really horrible at waking up. Like, I was not a morning person. And I was like, is that a good thing? Like, what is it? What is this drama? What does it do? What am I, and this is back in the day, like when phones actually were this. So I was like, great. I was like, that's good. And in my head, I thought, like, how is this going to change my performance? Not at all. It's not going to change anything that I'm doing on stage. So when then the nomination for the Tony, and what I constantly always heard, I was hearing like the talk, and because being from Brooklyn, you don't expect a lot of great things to happen to you. You always, kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah. So for me, I was like, again, literally, I was like, well, does that mean I still got a job? What if I lose? What if I don't get it? So I was thinking like, oh, Daphne for sure was going to get it. I was thinking like, oh, they're going to give it to the white boy, Adam. They're going to give it to Adam Pascal. They're going to give it to me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think, all I know is that I was working my butt off every single night. And then to win the Tony, I felt, it was almost in tears, and I did, and then I actually did cry, but I was trying to keep it together. I did. By the way, the speech that you see online, it's been cut. It was longer than that.
Oh, wow.
And also they made it seem as though like I was like I hesitated. But because it was pre-recorded, it wasn't live. The edit was that they called my name, and then I jumped up. The moment I was the only person with the first name that started with a W. So the moment they said what, I was up. I was like, who's that? And I like turned around and I was like, oh my God, you know. And then I jumped on the stage and it was like, you know, I definitely felt like you know that I forgot the name of the band, but you know, but maybe go like, hey, look, ma, I made it, you know, like it definitely everything's coming up daisies, you know. I felt like it was that moment of like, wow, look at where I came from, look at what I what just happened. Not like 4 months ago, I was thinking like 4 months ago, 5 months ago, I got fired from that job that I was telling you on Christmas Eve, and just because I didn't take rather New Year's Eve, just because I didn't take an extra shift, you know, a morning shift, and you know, my dad said that night. I remember when I got back home, was like, you know, better things are in store for you in 1996. And I was like, yeah. And you know, like after the Tony, I was like, yeah, he wasn't kidding, you know, when he said better things. So it was, yeah,
You have to
overwhelming.
hear about what happened with your mom whenever you see Antonio Real, because she still wants me to do something else. God tell that story for me, because it's probably one of my favorite stories that you and I spent a lot of time together. Can you tell me? Are you going to share that story?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely. I'm more than happy to tell you the story. So, you know, it's like a month after the Tony Awards, and you know, and I'm still like, you know, busting my hump. But I believe it was like on a day off, and you know, mom and I are chatting about stuff, and you know, Dominicans don't. I guess they don't really understand the Tony Award, and even though that I explained to them that it was sort of like an Oscar for theater, and because even when I told her that I was nominated, she was like, "Is that good? Well, okay, then okay, that's I'm happy for you, my son. Okay, hi, my son, I'm happy for you." So you know, here we are chatting a month afterwards, and she's like, "Well, you know, well now that you got an award and you did your hobby and your hobby is making you happy, and you know it's still time for you to become a doctor, right? Because 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 you're still young and you can." I said, "But mom, like this is like a forever thing. Like you realize that I'm gonna be this actually puts me in the annals of you know theatrical history of like forever. I'm always going to be the person that actually won this award for this particular thing and represented this, and I'm always going to be." She's like, "Yeah, I know that makes you happy. Okay, I know it makes you happy, but the thing is that you can still become a doctor. Okay, you know, you're not always going to do the hobby, this hobby. So, you know, um, and and then at one point also she says like, but Wilson, you know, I'm surprised because Papi, you can sing, because before she never thought it was never a supportive household. Let me tell you that. Like I did not come from one of those households like now, like a lot of theater kids, where they have their parents support them and they put them in, you know, the gymnastics class and they put them in piano class and put them in voice class and dance class and all that. And now you're hoping that you can get them in. So you think you could dance and get them in the voice, get them in this. Like, no, not my house. My house is like, no, you're going to become a doctor. That's what you're going to become. And when it came to singing, he was like, you know, maybe you shouldn't sing. You know, you don't sing too good. And with dancing, he was like, oh yeah, you can dance, pero you can't sing. No, you can't sing. So, you know, which is why I always, you know, when something's for you, it's for you. And I worked at really, really hard. To become a better. I mean, it's always like in the back of my head. It's like, you know, my parents saying like, you can't sing, or a friend of mine like that I grew up with saying like, yeah, you can't sing. So, you know, I worked hard from a place of like, well, maybe at a time they might have been right. But I worked my ass off to be better. So I don't think I'm the best singer. I think that I definitely can handle myself and I can attack any material
Well, I
that I
think
see.
anybody who saw you in West Side saw a completely different side of you, and you showed all those pipes. And when you talk about working hard, I mean, Wilson, you stayed with me for 6 weeks while you came to this West Side. 3 in the morning, rehearsing, practicing. You know, looking at me on my day off at early in the morning, and say, "Hey, let's run lines. We're gonna do it." I can say for a fact that you don't stop working, which is, it shows your dedication. It shows, how hard you're willing to work. And,
Yeah.
that obviously hasn't changed from 20 years ago or to now. I mean, so it's all the same thing.
If anything, what changed for the Tony, what changed for me is at least it made me feel like I was part of the club.
Right.
Finally, and that I was partly, accepted, but it didn't change my habits. If anything, it made me more self-conscious, and I felt that the eye, the magnifying glass was on me a lot more, in order to to see what I was going to do next. So
Absolutely. And I mean, that front. I mean, we have it on the screen right now. Tony Award winner Wilson Jermaine Heredia. When we came and saw you in Original Sound at the Cherry Lane Theater, it was in your bio. Tony Award winner was the first thing that was in there. So it's so great to, and again, advice for anybody, any young performer or older performer that's watching, that can't stop you, because you have to keep going. That should push you harder, not stop you.
Yeah.
Whenever you get that recognition, it doesn't mean it's time to relax. It's time to go.
Amen to that. And I think that was kind of what a lot of the people that were a part of West Side Story had kind of said was, he's a hard worker. He's out of the pavement and just grinding to get the job done. And
Always.
it was definitely an honor to have you down here for that amount of time. How was the overall experience being a part of the ACT community and being a part of the ACT family, doing that production of West Side Story? How was the experience, and I guess kind of comparative to your time on Broadway?
it was amazing. I really have to say that it was amazing. The differences is that the rehearsals aren't. There aren't as many rehearsals based on equity rules, which means that everyone has to come correct. It means everyone has to do a lot of their work at home, and if anything, it felt like the rehearsals felt like, all right, we expect that you did all your work at home, so we're just going to review what you already did at home, because you know what you're supposed to do, and we are going to work on some new stuff that you are going to have to take, more homework, more stuff to do. The performers, I have to say that where I thought like they were like, Broadway ready. I was floored at the talent, and because I also I went to ACT like the year prior to that, so I knew that what talent was there. I knew what talent was available, and I wasn't surprised at how everyone gave their all. It was great once once we did like full out rehearsals and everyone was on. Everyone was on. The choreography was fantastic, and it's very important. The difference between, I would say, Broadway and ACT is ACT had less money. Really, but because if they had more time for rehearsals, even more time and more money, just more, it kind of equates to more money. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference because of the way that everyone performed. There was really no difference. The talent was on par, and sometimes, very much like how I feel, and kind of when I was first starting in the business, like, you know what, even if I don't get it, I'm gonna I'm gonna work so hard that you're not gonna be able to tell the difference once the show goes on, once the lights are on. And also I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work at it so hard that that whatever is supposed to come naturally, I'll make up for it in hard work. And I saw a lot of that as well. I saw a lot of the like, well, if I don't got it, I'm gonna give it my all though. I'm gonna give it my all completely, because that's really what it is. It's like you have to like completely surrender to it, and you have to be 100% present. And everyone was just like when I saw like the very first dance at the gym. Oh my god, it was just fantastic to watch. All you guys. I was a bit jealous because my character actually didn't have those dances with all of you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only time was just doing the little minuet thing, da, 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 and that was the only thing that I got to do. And anything that I kind of came up with myself for Something's Coming and my solo Maria. But it was and also the enthusiasm and the professionalism, and it was also fun. It was and the fun that we had is actually no different than anyone that I was doing the show with on Broadway or off Broadway, because a big part of doing theater and musical theater and being an artist is that you're generally giddy anyway, and you just have all this extra energy, and you just have to let it out while during rehearsals if you're not doing anything. I mean, that's why we do what we do, is because we have just this extra. We're just a little extra. Man, people could always pick us out in a group. There's a group of people. It was like, that person's in musical theater. That person's in musical theater. That person's an actor.
Don't go to Denny's after the show and not expect to see a
ton of
musical theater kids still in full makeup, costumes, and acting crazy,
grabbing that go grand slam. As far as
the talent was there.
It's all about passion and the love for the theater. And I gotta know, and this was a question that was submitted by somebody, who was your favorite person to work with at Authentic Community Theater when you did West Side Story?
Is this a trick question?
I just read them.
Because I'm gonna have to say Robbie, right? Is it because I love Robbie? No, because he was my boy.
You don't have to say Robbie. I mean,
by far, really, but easy. Like hands down, it was Lauren Palmer. She was fantastic. She made me feel that because it was also the first time I've ever tried anything like this too. And again, I thought the microscope was going to be on me because of this, because they were thinking, like, number one, I'm not white. Number two, I'm a little older than what that character would be. But so is like Grease, the film and all that and all that. But still, I've also, no one's ever heard me sing like this before. So there's a lot to be said about when you're performing, when your performance partner has the utmost trust in you, and that puts you at ease. And because she was also so talented, it made me rise to the occasion. It was like, oh, well, if you're gonna be singing like that, then I'm gonna be singing like this, and well, if you're gonna be acting like that, so this is real. So okay, fine, then I'm gonna be, and it was, I wouldn't say competitive, but it was like, all right, fine, like, raising the bar and actually performing at a certain level. So there was that level of professionalism that she had. But there was also just the immediate trust that we had, and we just had an immediate connection. It was kismet immediately, and it was great. I knew that no matter what, and we had issues actually, as all productions have snags, where like, oh my God, are we going to be able to get all this done in time? Oh my God, is like, oh, this person's hurt, or that person's hurt, or this, there's a change in this. Never once was I really, and Robbie can attest to this. Never was I really worried. Because I would always say, like, you know what, as long as like me and Lauren are good, and we, you know, and as long as we key on each other, then it's all good. Yeah, you know, we're gonna get through it.
You saw West Side, saw the chemistry between the two of you, and it was so real. Being in the cast and producing the show, I saw it, I felt it, and you're right. There were times where I think in rehearsal you were just like, "Damn, all right, cool. Like, we're gonna get this going." You know, and of course Lauren's incredible, and the show overall and your guys' chemistry, it was fantastic. But now the question is, outside of act, who is your favorite person you have ever worked with in your entire career?
Outside of act,
Outside of act.
outside of act, just in general,
Yeah,
like oh, Jesse Martin by far.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse Martin definitely. I mean, there's some. I have worked with a lot of great people. I mean, there's like there's just something special about what we did and what we had. I mean, we still talk today. I mean, I was just talking to him the other day. You know, I'm very close to Rosario Dawson. I'm very close to Tracy Thomas. But like really close. But you know, um, and me and the Rent Cast, we actually have like this going this group chat that we started after we did Rent Live, and so but we've always been sort of like, you know, in connection with each other. Um, it's a family that just a family connection that never goes away. So there's love there always, but you know, there's just a special place in my heart for Jesse, and I should hope that he feels the same way. It doesn't matter though.
I think too, and again, being a part of that show, there's no way to do Brent any other way than building that family.
Yeah.
And so that's so great. You guys still talk to each other. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody donates and gets lifetime subscriptions, maybe bring in Wilson and Jesse to act together to maybe do something like, I don't know, The Odd Couple.
I was gonna say
That could be fun. But I mean,
Even my wife mentioned that. My wife mentioned The Odd Couple, and I think that's a great idea. We just have to get him down from Canada, though.
let's give him a call. I'll get him down here from Canada.
Yeah.
To get in touch with the Prime Minister of Canada, though, because I think they're allowed to get
I don't
across
know.
the border right now.
We'll figure it out. It'll be great. You heard it here, folks. I'm just kidding. It's not set yet. Now, do you think? And again, this is where we're going to get to some of the harder hitting questions that we obviously want your honesty, my friend. Act's goal, as we have said in videos earlier, is to the use of this black box studio is to go fully professional. Do you think, with your experience with Act, does Act have what it takes to go professional and be successful?
Absolutely. The work ethic is actually also what impressed me, and you know, and as I was saying before, you know, you're in during rehearsals, if you don't have something to do and people are on the sidelines, and you know, you're giddy, and then you know, people being told to shut up, and that's a very typical thing. It's like, you know, ha, ha, and then they go like, all right, here's your scene. All of a sudden, boom, people are ready to go. You know, I'm talking about from the kids to the adults, and people are bringing it, and people are absolutely bringing it, and so, and as I said before, the only difference is money, you know, and actual, you know, and if you had your space to actually perform and do your own thing and have more control, then absolutely, yeah. And most importantly, the people like you, people like your wife, people that really care about what they're doing, but they're also good and they're also no nonsense. And when it's time to work, it's work. And you know, a sign of any good production company, any theater production company is everything is supposed to feel like a mess, like maybe a week before, and then getting it together, and then the audience not knowing a difference by the time that you're there on opening night, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it is. It's a chaotic, messy process. There are emotions involved. I mean, you can't do this without putting your emotions into it. And I saw all of that. I was like, yeah, pretty normal. If I didn't see any of that, then I would be worried. It was like, oh, because you wouldn't care about it. And then on stage, it would just kind of be like, oh, whatever. We don't really care, like if you do it right or wrong, or if this doesn't work or not. So
And with Wilson, with you staying with me, you saw a lot of the underbelly of what we go through to get these shows prepared and put on, not just as a performer in the cast, but you saw a lot of the stuff that we had to do on the back end producing the show to get it up and running.
Yeah.
And of course, those words mean the world to us as an organization because we try so hard. I think we have two more questions, and then we're going to let you go because we know you're busy.
Right, but also the important thing is that Robbie, you are a huge part of why ACT works. A huge part of why ACT works the way it does, and it's succeeding the way it does. I believe anything is possible if you say that you're gonna do it, and if you're at the helm of it. It's your leadership that is going to make ACT into a successful real regional company. If it were anyone else, I'd say like, you never know. It's all depending on who's going to invest and then who you get into cast. But when you get someone like you, who's you're just a doer. You say it and then you do it. So yeah, that's the only reason that I know that it's going to be possible. Aside from all the other good things that actors, are we're a dime a dozen. There's a lot of us out there. There's some new performers for ACT that are being born right now. Eventually, and in that area, some people that will be moving on, but not now. Not they're not talking about opening up Broadway until like next fall. So right now, considering that you guys already gone into like phase 3 and opening up, like you guys may be like the best, thing in town, yeah, you are while this is going on, it's you. I mean, there's everybody. There's Brittany. There's Tiffany. There's there's Lauren. All you fantastic people that do that, but you at the helm. 100%. That's why it's going to succeed.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So obviously today being Washington County Gives Day, it's a 24-hour online giving drive so that individuals around the community and really all around the world can go online. They can donate to whatever nonprofit organization they want to support here in the area. So now comes the opportunity for you to make the big pitch. Why should individuals donate to that link that's been crawling at the bottom of the screen there this entire time?
Why? Because the arts it's without ACT, without the arts, we take it for granted. We figure like, well, it's just entertainment. It's not. It's more than that. It feeds the soul. You realize the vacuum when it's gone, especially in the time that when we weren't able to do any of it. As far as I'm pretty sure that when you guys were rehearsing for your show that you guys are working on right now, Footloose, and you guys were doing James and the Giant Peach, what it does, it isn't just for entertainment's sake. It actually it informs, it connects communities. It allows for people to to express themselves, and it also cross, there's a phrase for it, but there's a cross relevance to what people do in the arts, and how it also affects them in other areas of life as well. For kids, it definitely holds their attention, and it teaches them to focus, teaches them responsibility, and the arts in general. Because I'm a huge proponent of the arts, a huge supporter that the arts, everything. The arts are around you, all around you, whether you know it or not. Everything was like, all societies have an element or built on the arts. In like archaeologists, when they dig up places, one of the first things that you find is their art. It defines a culture. It informs a culture. It feeds the culture, and so. And also there's nothing wrong with entertainment either. If you just want to watch a good show with local people as well, and support local business as well, and not just think like, well, it's not Broadway. It was like, well, it's actually, yeah, that's right. And Broadway isn't this, and that's why you should support it, because you get to see your own people doing fantastic things, and it's uplifting, and that's why you should donate. You should absolutely donate, and have your own Broadway. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing that says that you can't have your own version of Broadway, because it's the same caliber, and invest in that. It's worth it. Invest in your kids. Invest in your own people, in your own community, and you will reap the benefits. And there's nothing that I can say to the negative that it'll affect. It'll never affect anything negative. Only good things will come out of that, and that's why you should donate to ACT in order for them to purchase this new building.
Wilson, thank you so much, brother, for your time. Of course, we'll hopefully be seeing you back here real soon. Guys, it is our Power Hour. So make sure you go to the website scrolling right below. Make your donations, so those donations, so we can win the Power Hour prize for the time from 6 to 7.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for everything. Wilson, thank you. You coming back?
I'm coming back.
My brother. All right. Guys, thank you all so much. Again, the Capital campaign is kicking off. For all of you that have donated, thank you so much. For those of you who haven't donated, donate now. We got 47 minutes left in our Power Hour.
Donate.
My man, Wilson, thank you, brother. Love you all very much. Thank you. Here's our cards. We're done. Thank you all so much. Have a great night. Peace out, everybody.
All right.